Hello and welcome to part 11. Okay, I don't know if you made it this far or you're just tuning into just this one or some of what you wanted to look at or thought you wanted to look at. I just wanted to be more clear on my position on Jerusalem and Israel and Palestine. Of course, Israel should govern Israel. That makes sense. Palestine should govern Palestine, albeit it's divided by maybe just a train away. It's still one nation, and it should be undivided. Um, okay, so that's that. You've got Palestine, you've got Israel. Simple thing. They each have their own governments, perhaps. And hopefully, most hopefully, democratic capitalism will prevail in both these nations. I wish them both great success and prosperity, harmony, and tranquility, whatever have you, prosperity. All of it important. And then I'd like to discuss Jerusalem. Now, I think Jerusalem should be multi-ethnic, and it already is. We have Israelis, Palestinians, we have Christians, we have agnostics, we have atheists, other Muslims, maybe, I don't know who else is there, but it should be a multi-ethnic city, and I know religion is very important in that city because of the religious sites being so important to both, to all three of these religions and perhaps others, being curious or curiosity about these places. But moreover, I'd like to say that a multi-ethnic government is required for Jerusalem, and that would fix what's wrong, I think. Jerusalem, multi-ethnic government, and that's not to say multi-religious, because religion gets in the way of politics all too often. I know we have to have certain things observed regarding religion and whatnot in Jerusalem, yet at the same time it should be by ethnicity, and fairly, done in a way that is right and proper and good and just and all that, rightly representing Jerusalem. That's not to say there should be any exodus or people leaving or people coming in that shouldn't be there or whatnot. But Jerusalem should be multi-ethnic in government, in governance, multi-ethnic. This is very important, and I know we said Israel's capital is Jerusalem. It can still be a capital city for both. It has to be the city itself governed by a multi-ethnic. I'm saying it again, a multi-ethnic government, but yet Israel's capital can be there, and Palestine's capital can be there. It's not really that complicated. I think it's less complicated than people see it or make it seem. So there. I've said it. I hope it takes, not because I said it, but because it just makes sense. Others have brought that to my attention in my readings and whatnot, that it is already multi-ethnic, and why not? They haven't actually said that to me, but multi-ethnic government makes perfect sense to me. So I'm saying it yet again. it doesn't mean that the capital can't be there of Israel and Palestine. I think that can still work very strongly. I think that's a good idea because Jerusalem is so very important to both, and then to Christians as well. We shouldn't leave that out. I don't know how that all fits together, but it's important to all three, and Jerusalem should be governed in a way that represents all the people of Jerusalem and not an occupied state, or an occupied city. We don't want anything like that. So it should be, representative of Jerusalem, and let's be careful about moving around people. People that should be in Jerusalem should be there, if that makes any sense, and those that should not be there should not be there. I don't know if there should be any exclusions, but it is Jerusalem and there's limited space. Let's not have some sort of problem with moving around people to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem, but let's also look to the, I strongly suggest that the U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, for answers in what kind of governance this should be. It makes more sense to me that something like the U.S. government would be employed because it is dealing with multi-ethnic or multi-ethnicities, and that's what we have in the United States, and it makes sense to not discriminate against anyone for any reason. That goes anywhere in the world. No one is discriminated for any reason. Okay, so there you have it. I hope this can be a reality. It may be the only answer, and then the two-state solution, Israel and Palestine, and making Palestine not only observer status, state status, but full statehood, and let it go from there, and let them all prosper. I mean, and peace and harmony, and working together working well together could be very important. It probably is, despite their differences, despite being different people and different religion. I mean, don't let these things get in the way. It may be easier than it appears. I think that one of the things that was a problem was the extremism, where women had to wear burqas or couldn't go to school or whatnot. Now, maybe if we can let up on some of this extremism and a more moderate Islam, then they can coexist in Jerusalem very easily, and Israel has to maybe lighten up as far as being too concerned about these Muslims or Islamics being a part of Jerusalem and not see them as a threat. Of course, we need some sort of protections, but this is a multi-ethnic government, and a multi-ethnic governance, police that are multi-ethnic, agencies that are multi-ethnic, something like that. I mean, it is a capital city, but yet it's not a nation, so that's also something to consider. Thoughts on it? Let's put it together, and I still refer you to the Constitution of the U.S. for governance in both Israel and Palestine and of Jerusalem. Okay, enough said. So please let's have this happen soon time, most soon. And I know it seemed as though Israel was, I mean, I don't like, in truth, this is just my personal opinion. I mean, I get President Trump getting the ball rolling by mentioning Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, yet at the same time, it was sort of one-sided, not including the Palestinians and not including all else of Jerusalem. So it got things in motion, but it needs to be finalized, and I think multi-ethnic is what we're looking for, yet the capital of both Israel and Palestine. So that's my take on it. I think it is the very best solution, and if we can get this most soon, working well together, coexisting, getting along, there's work that needs to be done, and working together as a multi-ethnic government. I mean, we're almost asking a lot because of all the years past. I mean, 20 years ago things were not good, but there was no solution on the map as far as I could see it, as an explanation for why things were the way they were. Israelis had nothing to do as far as negotiating a peace, because I mean they were trying, but yet the map didn't look good, and I'm not saying I had the solution, but I think uniting sort of west and east Palestine by a train, Gaza and the West Bank, is a valid solution, a safe train for all peoples, those on the train and off the train, a safe solution, both peoples, all peoples, and I've said enough, but this is very important, and I don't know why it isn't coalescing yet. I think Israel has to let go of being in complete control of Jerusalem and having police Jerusalem. I mean, that was a concept. It needs to be multi-ethnic, and that's Jerusalem. And I know it may seem a little backwards because it's the capital city of Israel. Why should we share it? Because that's how Jerusalem is. There are more sites that belong to others, and or that should be important to other societies, and so that's why it needs to be multi-ethnic, albeit the capital of Israel and the capital of Palestine. So that's my take on that. I hope it takes. I hope it happens soon, and rightly. I mean, things should go well. I mean, people are people, so why should it be that they're in conflict? I mean, it makes no sense, and all go up and up in prosperity, and in these settlements. It's difficult because they went through the effort of building the settlements. I understand that. But at the same time, they may need to be transformed or given to the Palestinians. I just thought in concept, making these settlements where they weren't supposed to be was bad for both. I mean, you go through the effort of making something, and then it may need to be changed, all for naught, and then the Palestinians are taking exception to them being built. Not good. So I think I've said enough. But get ready to have those settlements turned over to Palestinians, the ones that are not of Israel. So that's tricky, but needs to be done, and so let it happen. Let it be done. Let this get going. I mean, it could be a beautiful city. I mean, it already is, but beautiful in government. I mean, we need Palestine to be acknowledged, and this on the terrorist list. This needs to be removed by the U.S. Hamas. I mean, yes, the group more than 20 years ago was awful at times, but they've come a long way. They've transformed who they are and what they are. They were governance. They made Gaza into a governable. They were the government, and so credit is due. Yet the Palestinian Authority, I think, is looking to be the authority of Palestine. Now, there was talk of power sharing. I mean, Gaza is a distance away from West Bank, and so it's difficult, but maybe they need to have free and fair elections and democratic capitalism, and let it be as it should be. I mean, elect the people that should be, for each territory, each individual territory, and representing them fairly. And that's all I have to say for now on that, and possibly that may be it. I mean, I can't think of anything more to say on it now, but there may be something else. Okay, have a great day, and thanks for listening to part 11. Bye.